Hollie McLachlan, Hollie, MC, capital LACHLAN.
Gotcha. And Hollie, what's your title?
I am the co-owner of Chickadee Infant and Toddler Care.
And you guys are brand new.
We are, yes. We just opened. So August 30th is our first day of care for children, and we're presently engaging in our staff right now. We have a full week of staff development.
Cool. And how are you feeling? Have you ever run a child care before?
I've run businesses before, but not a child care center, so this is new for me. I come from an education and film background, and the two were combined. So after becoming a mom, I decided that I was very interested in quality childcare and providing that for many children, not just my own.
Okay, gotcha. Are you nervous about your first day?
No, and I think it's because I'm not nervous about my first day, and I think it's because there's so much happening that I don't have the time to dedicate that energy to being nervous. There's just so much going on.
You're too busy worrying about all the other things.
Yeah.
You don't worry about how nervous you are.
Yes, yeah, that's absolutely accurate.
Yeah, gotcha. Tell me kind of some of the basics. You guys are going to have kids from what age to what age, and how many kids in the facility at a time?
Sure. We care for children ages 6 weeks to 3.5 years, and at any one time we can have up to 43 children.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. So what has this been like for you to try to start a new childcare business in the age of the pandemic?
Yeah. So starting a childcare business during COVID has been interesting because it's like a double-edged sword. You have a plethora of families who require care. So many people don't have childcare available to them. And on the other hand, there has been a dearth of workers and people available who are qualified to care for children. So this has definitely been a challenge for us. We want to help as many families as we can. We are fully enrolled and we have a wait list of over 100 children. And we are fully staffed, but even prior to opening, we're finding that it's very difficult to gauge the quality of the people who are coming to you, and so there's some turnover there where they realize they're not a right fit for us, or we're not a right fit for them. So we're finding our footing and figuring out who our tribe is and who our people are as we set up, which I think is bound to happen in any business as you get started. So the people we have on staff with us right now are very warm, caring, loving people. So we feel very grateful that we were able to find them during this difficult time for staffing.
Do me a favor, Hollie. Can you take that microphone and just kind of slide it to the middle of your dress? I think your hair is...
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I just want to make sure that everything you say
is heard.
Yeah,
okay.
Heard well. Yeah. And if you want a hand or need a hand, I'm happy to put my mask on and help you.
It's okay. I think I got it. How's that? Is that better?
Yeah, much. Yeah,
okay,
thank you.
Great.
I mean, and when you talk about staff,
yeah.
So I worked in not early childhood education, but I worked with kids as young as 3 and all the way up to 12, and then middle school and high school. But one thing that I kept hearing over and over again as a theme from my supervisors was, you are mom and dad for the day. Is that something that goes into, you're going to...
No, that's absolutely true. So yesterday during our staff development, I used those exact words, that the children look at you as mom and dad. You are the care provider for the day. They don't have their familiar family member with them, and they're looking for that connection and to build that rapport. And in order for children to flourish, they have to feel safe first. So by building rapport with children, you give them that opportunity to have a feeling of safety, which allows them then to play freely, and that's when their cognitive development can really boom, because they feel safe and they're not using their cognitive energy to worry about their survival and their own safety. It's very important.
Well, and it also goes for their true moms and dads, or guardians, or whoever's taking care of them, right?
Absolutely.
Feeling that same sense of safety.
Yes.
I mean, how do you communicate that to your staff?
Well, we just, for our staff, we really highlight the importance of building relationships with parents. During the time of COVID, it's a very popular practice for early childhood care centers to disallow parents into the room, and it's because some places are taking appropriate measures and precautions. But for us, especially because we're just opening, we're welcoming all of the pandemic babies. These are babies who have never seen other children, let alone 5 at a time. They haven't met strangers. They might have seen people with masks as they walk outside in the open air, maybe. But they know mom and dad's face, and that's pretty much all they know. So building the relationship with the parents and inviting the parents into our space to make that connection with our teachers is so vital for that, that assurance and that relationship building, especially for the children. When the children see mom and dad are safe with my caretaker, then that shows them I can feel safe with my caretaker.
My baby is a pandemic baby, so you're hitting me right in the feels right now.
My baby's a
Yes.
pandemic baby. Yeah.
So this is, I mean, you know, to an extent, it's really personal for you.
Oh yes, it is. The whole reason, the impetus for building Chickadee infant and toddler care during a pandemic was because I found myself pregnant happily, but I just wasn't happy with the dearth of availability of care, nor what I saw was available for care for people as young as 6 weeks or 8 weeks, which is what I needed as a working mother. So we have 2 parents in the house, we're both working, and we don't have family nearby, so we have to rely on care providers to help us raise healthy children, and that's a really big ask. And with my background as an educator and with my experience and education in early childhood, I knew I could provide that.
One little adjustment on the light,
Sure.
and I think
And if my kids come, we just might have some children
or
present.
at all, it's not going to bother me one bit. Like I said, you learn to live on the fly. So like I said, this is probably the most formal interview I've done in a long time.
Oh wow,
So,
okay.
yeah, as far as like sitting down and all that kind of stuff, usually it tends to be kind of run and gun.
So let's talk about the procedures that you've put in place, the protocols that you've put in place for your staff. What are you doing for your staff and for the families to let them know, okay, here are our COVID-19 protocols. What are they?
So our families are very nervous about COVID-19, especially with the Delta variant and how easily it can be transmitted to children. Children don't have the option of receiving the vaccine as young as the children that we care for. So to help parents feel more at ease and also for our own level of comfort, we require our staff to be vaccinated. So it's our company policy. Anybody who is interested in working here, they must receive the full panel of the COVID vaccine prior to working with children. At that point in time, when they do come into the building, everybody is required to be masked as well, because we know that vaccinated people can still transmit the Delta variant to others, including children. So it's up to us to provide the highest level of quality care that we can. For us, our tagline is safe, loving care. Safe comes first for a reason. This is a very easy option for us. There was no internal struggle as to whether or not we require staff to be vaccinated, because for us it's just the right thing to do. Are kids safe with people who are unvaccinated? No. Are kids safer with people who are vaccinated, who wear masks? Yes. So for us, it just became company policy. It made common sense to us.
Even with the lack of childcare workers?
Even with the lack of workers available for childcare, people have a lot of reasons for not wanting to receive their vaccine, and so that may add to the people who come to us to interview. But regardless of who we attract to come to interview, our policy states you have to receive the vaccine, and it's only for the safety of our kids as well as for the safety of us and them.
Have you had anybody who's come to interview who said, hey, you know, I'm not vaccinated? You tell them the policy and then they say, okay, I'd be willing to do it to get the job?
Yes, we've had a handful of people who came to us to interview knowing that we require the vaccine. At the end of the interview, when we offer them a job, whether it's that same day or a few days later, we remind them that we do require the vaccine. So some people have been on the fence, but we've been able to convince 5 people to be vaccinated. And with Pfizer being FDA approved, we feel that at least we have something to show people that the FDA approves this is safe to take.
Mm-hmm. I mean, 5 out of how many staff? I mean, because I would imagine obviously the rest of your staff's already vaccinated, so 5 of how many?
5 of 14 people are the people who were convinced to receive their vaccine.
It's a large percentage.
Yes.
I mean, 5 out of 15 is like 33%. 5 out of 14 is like 33%.
We're very proud of our staff, and we're proud of them because they're putting kids first, and those are the kind of people we want to attract to care for our children.
Did you have anybody who said, sorry, I'm not willing to get the vaccine, and turned down the job?
Yeah, we have had some people turn down the job because they were not willing to get vaccinated, and while we were sorry to see them go, we would welcome them back to us if they decide to receive the vaccine later.
Gotcha. So when I talked to Tara Williams, she had kind of spoken with a bunch of different healthcare, childcare programs across the state, and kind of had felt that the general consensus was that many owners, although it is a small business where you are allowed to make your own rules, such as vaccination policies and masking policies and so on and so forth, she said that generally what she had heard was that people would appreciate guidance from the state, whether that's a mandate, whether that's a recommendation, something so that there would be a consistency across the discipline.
Yes.
What's your opinion on that?
I think that the children of Maine, especially our babies of Maine, deserve a mandate from our government to have all care providers and all teachers of any age vaccinated to protect our kids. For me and Amy, my business partner, this is a no-brainer. We need to protect the children. It's our responsibility to protect our tiniest Mainers. And there's not a lot of power that we have to do that other than we can make the choice to be vaccinated to protect other people. This isn't about our own wants and needs. This is about keeping kids safe and keeping the people we love and work with safe. But having guidance from the state, especially in the form of a mandate, would be so welcome and overdue.
Gotcha. What about child care facilities whose owners have a different opinion about vaccines and would prefer to not be required by the state and would prefer to make their own decisions on whether the staff are vaccinated? I mean, what about their side of the story?
I would ask those daycare owners who may not be interested in pursuing the vaccine as a mandate for their workers due to personal beliefs to just look inside of themselves and ask themselves, why do they feel that way? Is it due to scientific data-backed evidence that they don't want to subject their staff to the vaccine? Is it because they're worried that they might have staff who leaves them? But I think that when we look into our own hearts, we know what the right answer is in many situations, and whether that makes us feel comfortable or not. And for me, the right answer is that we all should be vaccinated to help our kids.
Okay. What are you asking anything of? I mean, I know you had said that families would be allowed to come in on the first day to kind of help their child acclimate. Yeah. Are you asking any COVID-19 protocols of families?
Yes, yes. There is a, so for COVID-19, for COVID-19 protocols for families, we ask that they do a screening prior to check-in, which is a pretty common practice among child care providers. So they fill out a screening on their app, it's called Brightwheel, and they take the temperature before they come to school. They also have to wear a mask. The adults have to wear a mask before they come into the building, and children who are 2.5 and older will wear a mask here as well. Gotcha. They also have to wash their hands upon entering the building as well.
Gotcha. Are you asking that families, the parents or any other family members who can get the vaccine provide proof of vaccination in order to enroll their kids?
No.
Okay. Can you explain why?
We haven't asked parents for their disclosure of their vaccination status because the people who have been communicating with us, who are enrolled with us, are very strong advocates of the vaccine, and so we know their opinion, and we don't feel that we need to ask them to disclose their position as they're so transparent about how they feel about the vaccine anyway.
You said you have a wait list of like 100 families. You know, of all the families that have contacted you to enroll, so including the wait list families, how many of them would you say, even a ballpark percentage, have raised concerns with you about vaccination of staff?
Easily 90% of the parents who we have enrolled and waitlisted have asked about our COVID-19 policies and whether or not our staff are vaccinated.
Okay. What is that? I mean, it kind of piggybacking off your last answer, but what does that say to you about the parents that are enrolling their kids in childcare right now in a pandemic?
That says to me that families are nervous about COVID-19. They are desperate to get back to work. You cannot work effectively when you are caring for your own child at the same time. That's impossible to balance. I know, as I lived through that as well as a teacher working from home. So parents feel very little choice in many situations, that they have to send their child somewhere, but where can they send them that is safe? And knowing our protocols reassures them that they are in the safest place that we can possibly provide.
You had said you'd like to see the state issue some type of mandate regarding vaccination of staff of child care facilities. That's your husband?
No.
I couldn't see.
It's okay.
You said you'd like to see a mandate. What would you like to see that mandate look like or include?
I would like to see a mandate that applies to childcare and the staff of childcare that's similar to the mandate that has recently come out for our healthcare providers. It's very clear. The reasons are very clear, and I think it makes sense.
I mean, I think one thing that I've heard a lot from parents is, you know, especially parents of kids like our age, you know, kids who are under the age of 2, obviously can't get the vaccine, and the CDC is not recommending that they wear a mask,
right.
And then when we talk about the transmissibility of the variants of COVID-19, in particular Delta, that would leave, you know, those particular kids between the ages of 0 and 2 or 2.5.
Completely exposed.
What's that?
Yeah, they're completely exposed to the Delta variant. So children between the ages of 0 and 2 who don't have the choice to be either masked or vaccinated are completely exposed to the Delta variant. So what can we do as the adults who are free-thinking adults? We can get the vaccine, and we can mask, and we can wash our hands, and we can follow cleaning procedures that are known to help lessen the possibility of transmission.
You know, it's kind of like what we talked about at the beginning. Parents send their kids off to a childcare or a school or wherever, you know, knowing that or hoping that the staff are going to represent mom and dad for the day and take care of them the same way that mom and dad would at home.
Yeah.
And I guess the vaccine kind of really ties all into that in a sense,
Yes.
right? Their health, just as much as, you know, how they treat them in the childcare facility, right?
Yes, nothing says I love you like I'm going to do everything I can in my power to protect you.
I think that's well said. Yeah, I think that's well
Yeah.
said. Is there anything else you want to add about, you know, what this process has been like for you to start up a brand new daycare with all of these extra things to consider? I mean, there's obviously the health and safety of children is something that's required by the state before there was ever a pandemic. You know, what's it been like for you to try to navigate all of this?
I mean, without my business partner, Amy Crowley, who is like an angel in disguise, I don't think I would have been able to pull this off in the amount of time that we did. We entered this space 6 weeks ago, and we're ready to open. So we're very thankful. Yeah.
I think you've answered all of my questions.
Thank you.
Is there something I didn't ask you that you wanted to touch on?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, cool.